Hello and welcome to the Serra High School Football Podcast. I'm here joined once again with head coach Patrick Walsh. Great to be
Hi,
here.
Amy.
How's it going?
It's going good. We're in week 10.
I was just going to say that. It's going real good.
Yeah, week 10, it's a long season. And this is the time of year where things ramp up.
Definitely.
Everything ramps up now. This is playoff week 1 of however many we earn. But obviously week 10, this is all the marbles out there, all the chips on the table, whatever. We're all in. It's week 10. The countdown clock will hit 0 this week. We'll reset it for the playoffs, and every week we reset it with 7 days or 6 days. So it's go time now.
Awesome. That's great. Well, it was a wonderful game on Friday night against SI under the lights for the first time. Is that right? That's
right. And it was nice. It was a great experience. And it wasn't one of those fogged in type nights. It was a beautiful night. There was no fog, and there wasn't a ton of wind, so it was a pleasant night out there in the sunset.
Definitely. I think everybody prepared for it to be freezing, so we were wondering, is it not that cold, or are we just prepared for the cold? Because sometimes it gets chilly out there.
Yeah.
It was a good game. We had a final score of 21-7. Mm-hmm. I did hear that some chatter was people expected a much higher scoring game, mm-hmm. but it was a great game nonetheless. Atkins with his 3 interceptions. Yeah. We had a touchdown from Weber, Gilmartin, and the defensive touchdown from Atkins. So it was awesome, earning him NorCal Player of the Week.
Yeah.
And of course, I have to say that's the first time since anyone at our school, since Major League Baseball's Greg Jeffries in '82. Right. So that's pretty cool.
So full disclosure, because it's very important to not spread fake news, right? That whole fake news thing, right? So whatever someone says is now real. So we have to do this because Dean Ayub, who was the AD here forever, Padre forever, Blake's here.
I was going to say, has a son here now. Yeah.
Big time Padre actually texted me after that quote hit the paper on Saturday and said, actually, that's not true. That 3 interceptions in the game is the first time that's happened since Greg Jeffries. It's not true. So I went back into the record book and looked myself. So what happened was right after the game, a reporter came up and said, this is the first time this has ever happened since 1982, Greg Jeffries. I'm like, oh, great. So then that's just what I said. And but we've actually had 2 Padres. Noel Roberts, I believe, is one of them.
Class of 92.
Yeah, and then another one. Darn it, I don't know why it's eluding me.
He was my brother's class. That's how come I know.
Okay, perfect. So you know Noel Roberts.
I don't just know
and someone around the same time frame. But what's really cool is all of our records are online, and we have an amazing historical online record. Anybody can go on there, sarahhs.com, football, and records, and see coaches' records, individual records, stats. I mean, I think we're better than most in that because of Randy Vogel has been keeping him forever. I think he was here in 1944.
Yes.
Randy Vogel.
Maybe.
I think he was here day 1. He's still here. But there's actually 2 players that have had 4 interceptions in a game. Noel being one of them, and then another one. So it's third on the list, tied with Jeffries.
I see.
For 3 in a game. So not
Thanks
underscoring the accomplishment of Alex, because it's only happened 3 times ever, right? With 4 times now. And it's a fantastic deal. And also, I'm not sure if any one of those went back for a touchdown, which I don't know.
That's true.
That's something
we'll leave that for Mr. Vogel as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's awesome. I mean, he had an amazing game. He was on fire, and it was just so fun to watch. And
fantastic.
So any comments from the game? Can you talk to us about game scores or lessons learned? Even?
Yeah, it was great. It was once again a great defensive performance from August till now. We've said that we have a very talented defensive team, and we do, and they're doing a great job. Coach Monsef, Coach McGee, Coach Thomas, Coach Peralta, just doing a great job over there. Great kids. It's a perfect storm of intelligence. I talked to Mitch Stevens, who's one of the famous sports writers around here, about our defense last night, and I said they're kind of like velociraptors. I mean, anything I know about a velociraptor came from Jurassic Park, which might be fake news too. But it seems in Jurassic Park that a velociraptor is a medium-sized, ferocious dinosaur that has quickness and speed, but also is very intelligent and works well in packs. So I feel like we have this raptor-type defense right now going. Not the biggest defense we've ever had, certainly like Neo Mafia and some of these monsters we've had, where you just plug up the holes. But it's a very sophisticated, well thought out, well planned, and well executed up to this point. Defensive performance, which is, I think, a Raptor would appreciate that. I think
definitely. No, I think you're right, and I think energetic comes to mind too. Because
sure.
I mean, one defensive play. There's another quickly. I mean, it's very exciting to watch.
Yes.
From a spectator's perspective.
And the SI game the other night was met with after something that didn't go quite well on offense, like an immediate takeaway, and we had 4 takeaways, which was great. So maybe it's a good time to talk about the goals.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so we were 3 for 4 on special teams,
great,
which is great. We were 4 for 4 on defense, which I think people would expect. And we've been kind of 3 for 4 on defense because we haven't got those 2 takeaways a game. We play good teams. They don't just turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. So in this game, we earned those interceptions with Atkins and Jabari had 1. And so we had 4 takeaways, which met that goal, which has been a little bit elusive for this great defense that we have. And then on offense, we went 1 for 4, which is something that we're not, which, our goal is 3 for 4 at the minimum. 4 for 4 is a great game. So we're making adjustments. We're figuring things out, and we got to get better on that side of the ball. And
before you go on, I'm just wondering, for the offensive part, though, do you have any ideas or any solutions to that right now?
Well, we can't turn the ball over. We can't put the ball on the ground. We're playing good defenses. I think SI is a very, very good defense, and people haven't noticed that based on their record, but their scores have been close, and they've done a great job. For example, they lost to Sacred Heart 10-0. I mean, when you hold a team to 10 points, regardless, right, that's good. And by any measure, that's a good defensive performance. Obviously, they didn't score, so they didn't win. But so we knew they had a good defense. We knew they had a front that would give us challenges. They're a very smart coach staff. They knew they adjust well to Serra. They work hard. They study. There's a lot of things that they're good at. And so I wasn't surprised. What I don't like, frankly, is when I give credit to SI where credit's due. But there's things that we're doing that are just simply shooting ourselves in the foot. We operated at 23%. The goal is 12. Mm-hmm. So that's double the acceptable rate. The acceptable rate of efficiency we talk about this all the time, is 12%. We were at 23% last week. So that means we had holdings, balls on the ground, fumbles, just sacks, just things that false starting and just sloppy things that is on me as a coach to clean up. I got to clean it up. We get that stuff cleaned up, we're going to be fine. Now we're back to 12% because we're not shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right.
If the other team's making plays and all that, I can live with that. If we overthrow a pass, I can live with that stuff. We're human. It's just the mental things with a relatively inexperienced offensive line, which is growing weekly. We just got to clean that stuff up. And once we do that and become an efficient team, which we've shown this year, we've shown flashes of that. We just have to be more consistent in that. And I think that has been the goal of this week from our coaches. Offensive staff met for several hours on Sunday. What are the things we got to do to help our kids become more efficient? And that's what we worked on this week.
That's great.
We'll see.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to watch in this next game. But before that, I wanted to, if it's okay, do you have anything more to say about the game? I don't want to cut you off there.
No, we're good.
All right, good. No, I'm pretty satisfied too. I just wanted to make sure. But we had a few more questions from our call out last week that I thought I'd just bring up now because we kind of went long.
Yeah.
So biggest challenge that the team faces from here on out?
Ego is the enemy.
Back to that. Yeah.
Ego is the enemy. It doesn't have to change every week. I don't have to be creative and make up stuff.
Right.
But when we first started talking about that, we were 6-0 and 7-0 and 8-0 and 9-0, and this is the culmination of a 10-game season. Again, the countdown clock that we set every year that solidifies our existence will end this weekend in a 10-game season. So how do we want that to look? And I asked the team this week to focus on the time that we have left together because there's not a lot. When the clock started at 270 days and now is approaching 0. Mm-hmm. It's always a visual reminder that things end, and we are going to make the playoffs. We know that, but our season could be over in 2 weeks. It's not going to end this weekend because we've already playoff eligible. But think about that for a minute. Give me
the chills. I don't like that. This is the best time of year.
It is, and if you want to keep it going, we want to keep it going. Then we have to earn it.
Right.
And if we want to do special things, then we have to earn it. And part of the way to earn that is to focus on each moment that we have together individually and not get caught in what's going to happen next week, which you'll probably ask me soon, or what's going to happen.
I have a few questions. Yes.
Yeah, everyone wants to know about the playoffs.
Right.
And I'm the wrong person to ask about that, but you can ask away. And then, what about what happened in 1953? I don't care. I love 1953. I was glad it happened. but it's not relevant. Nothing is relevant but this moment right now that you and I are having, or that we're talking on the podcast, it's the only thing that matters, really. And that could be myopic, I think, because I think I think a lot of great people plan and they plan ahead, and maybe they do that, but then they learn how to live in that moment. Mm-hmm. I think too many of us get caught in the past and burdened by the past and trying to make up for the past, none of that has anything to do with any human. It doesn't have anything to do with any of us, except learning from it and other things. But I'm just saying in terms of a football team, for us, we can learn from the past, but we can't be burdened by the past. We don't own anything that happened prior to us. We own what we're about to do or what we're doing at the moment.
It's a great answer.
That's the focus of this week.
That's
really,
great.
Time.
And I mean, do you feel with this team that, I know that in years past, I'm just guessing, and I'm sure it had to be that there were teams that would go sway one way or the other. Do you feel like this team is pretty grounded when it comes to the whole ego, thing?
No, I do. I think and I think the reason why I would support that assumption is that we have a good time together. We have a good time at practice. We enjoy. There's not this laborious feeling every time we go out to work or that we go out together. I feel like kids are enjoying each other. They are enjoying the coaching, the relationship. So in that regard, I'd say yes. Right. What happens on Twitter or whatever when people go home, I have no idea. But when I'm with the kids, when I'm with our environment, and particularly our coaches, we are ABC, always be coaching. ABC, they're always coaching the first step, always coaching the eyes, always coaching the techniques. And that I know our staff isn't satisfied. I mean, there's so many things we can do better, and that trickles down to the kids, and then the seniors aren't satisfied. So I think the culture's been good. And if I was to stop the season now, I would say yes, this team has lived in the moment. They've done a really good job of embracing the journey individually and as a team. Yeah,
they're a very cohesive group. I mean, it's fun to see. You can tell that they're having a good time, and who knows, maybe one begets all the wins, right? Maybe that's your secret sauce there.
Right.
Awesome. And in terms of the postseason, which I know you love to talk about, one of the questions: what does the postseason look like? Who are we likely to play?
Right. Well,
this is always a call-out question.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know because I think there's two parts. I don't know because I spend 0 minutes on it. I'm just gonna be honest with you, 0 minutes. I also don't know because I've spent time on it, and then at the 11th hour when I've spent many minutes on it, it changes.
Wasted
so what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's something out there, there's people out there that project things, and all of a sudden someone gets upset and something else happens. So I feel like it's wasted energy. So for me as the head coach, I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. I care about today, and I care about this weekend, and I care about Sacred Heart Cathedral and the challenge that they present. And then Sunday there'll be a meeting, and then they'll tell us who we're going to play. There was a time, and people know some of the history about me here. I was the league rep. I was all in. I was trying to CCS everything, and I think our management and the administration and the board does a great job. So I'm out.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. We leave it at that. They're doing a great job. They're doing the best they can in a very tricky, dynamic environment with public schools and private schools and these interests and those interests and big schools and small schools, and it's really hard.
It is.
And it's hard. It's a hard thing for the section. The state of Texas is set up differently, and some of the places that have, I would call like a true state championship where you're playing in regions and districts, and it's like a stepping stone along the way. I mean, there's no really thinking in that. You just play in your district, you play in your region, you play in your bigger region or whatever they call it, and then you play for state championships. It's a lot different we have 10 unique sections in California, so it's different.
And so without making any assumptions on who we're likely to play, the data is the data, right? Like the one seed will play the...
One plays 8, 2 plays 7. So for for sectional purposes, we are all allocated a certain amount of points. And the way it works is we have 5 divisions of 8 teams. So 40 teams out of, I think, 97 in our section, which really resonates because 57 teams will be done Friday or Saturday. Wow. Done. Right? Season's over, moving on to other things.
So went fast.
It really did. And then 40 play on, and then 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7. Or what they do is they seed 1 through 8, 9 through 16, 17 through, I'm losing track of the math here, and they just stack it 1 through 40. So we will be in Division 1 by merit of the teams that we play and the amount of wins we have will be in Division I.
Okay.
Don't know if we'll be 1 or 2 or 3 or wherever that falls, it falls. But it's likely we will be in the upper half of that and hosting a game a week after this weekend.
I see. But, I mean, it could be like Sacred Heart Prep down in Atherton. Like, they are 8-1. They're in a totally different division. Could we play them?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where the points are falling for them or for the other.
But we never play them usually, but we could.
We could. And for me, the way things have generally stacked for us, we play WCL teams.
Okay. I was just curious.
So last year we played 3 WCL games.
Because that was the word on the street after that game was, we could play Sarah. A friend of mine whose son goes there was like, could we play you? And I'm like,
oh,
that's
Sacred Heart
coach.
Prep? Yeah, I think.
I have no idea.
Yeah, if they go 9-1, they'll probably have enough points. They'll probably be in the top 8. Are they 8? Are they 7? Are they 6? Are we 1? Are we 2?
Right, sure.
I don't know.
That's more of a...
Yeah, that's where the points fall out.
Yeah.
And the way those points shake out is it's really kind of high-level mathematics because there's a lot of different factors that go into how you get points. You get points for winning. You actually get points for losing if you play a certain team.
I see.
You get points if you're playing a team that's in the top 100 in the state. I think you get more points if you play a team that's in the top 10 in the state or something like that. Wow. I mean, there's just a ton of different ways, a lot of dynamics. And then you get extra points if you play a league champ. You get extra points if you are a league champ.
Wow. Too complicated.
Hence
I'll
why
nix that next podcast. We're not going to answer that question, but
you're not going to answer. Yeah, no, it's something that is probably public somewhere, but for us, that's why I've just kind of,
I was just curious, I mean, this was one of the questions I thought, well, it's good to know just from a
Sure,
CD.
Absolutely. No, it's interesting. It's very interesting how our section does it. Cause like I said, there's 9 other sections that do it totally different than our section.
Wow.
And I think we do a good job. What we do a good job of in our section is, although humans created the point system, at this time of the year, the humans don't really matter. The points are it. So when we go to our meeting on Sunday, which is the day after the last game of CCS, day after this Sunday, there's nothing. There's no arguing. There's no bickering. There's no, meandering. Because in other sections, the humans are like, okay, you're going to be the one because I think, your weather's better and whatever these people think, that takes it all out of it, which I think is probably a better way to do it. Because I've heard some really bad stories about other sections and the way they set up their playoffs where the coaches just end up just hating each other after the meeting. We don't have that problem in our section, which I appreciate.
Certainly. That's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's, lobbying for their team, of course, so that's good.
You're right.
Awesome. Just a couple more questions before we move on to this weekend. Is this the first time Sarah could possibly have an undefeated season? I say possibly because we've won more games.
Yes. There's been 9-0 Serra teams, but there has not been a 10-0 Serra team. We've had an undefeated WCL season, and we've actually had a WCL season where we went 10-0, which is an interesting thing. But we won 7 WCL games in 2017, and then we played a WCL team in round 1, a WCL team in round 2, and a WCL team in round 3. So we went 10-0 in the WCL in 2017, which I think it could happen again in the future. And if it does happen again in the future, it's a remarkable thing. Of all the things 2017 team brought, which was our state championship team as well. That's right. Coach Falau was on that team. He likes to remind everybody about that, which is fine. He earned it.
He did.
This is the time of year you start earning stuff like that. You want to be able to talk about it when you're old.
Yep.
Then do something about it when you're young.
Exactly.
I mean, of all the things that team accomplished, winning 10 WCL games is incredible.
That's remarkable.
Absolutely incredible. So we may have to do that again this year. Who knows?
Great. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
And then the burning question on everybody's mind is, will Charlie, when he comes to Sarah High School, will he play football?
I will not force him to play football, but it looks like
I might. He's really good.
Someone else. Yes, he's on the Bayside Broncos. It's his first year ever playing tackle football.
He's excellent.
Yeah, he loves it. He enjoys it. He loves what the game brings to him. I love what the game is bringing to him.
Oh, good.
And I think a lot of people, sometimes football gets a bad rap. And I got to tell the world, or the 6 people who listen to this, whoever that is.
It's gaining momentum as we continue to win, I'll tell you that.
Okay, fine. But I will tell whoever actually listens that football is necessary in the United States of America. It is necessary. And although it has consequences, right, because concussions and We've had some injuries, and it's a violent, dangerous game. Because of that, and because of other factors of the game, the team aspect of it, the hard work that it takes, the fact that it's rare, it's rare. So I mean, we set our clock at 270 days. We play 10 games. That's it. You know, you don't get a doubleheader. You don't get any of that stuff. There's no consolation bracket. At least there never should be. There was one, but
not anymore.
Not anymore. But it's so set up in such a passionate way that it really allows great coaches and great men and great women who are involved in the game to dive deep into the hearts of kids. And I see that with my own son, with Charlie. William too, when he played, he just absolutely loved it.
He was very good too.
He absolutely loved it. And this is not just a reflection on Serra football, it's a reflection on the game itself. And my young son, Charlie, now has the best grades he's ever had. He works hard. He does his homework. He's focused because he wants to play football. And if you don't, you get it taken away. It's gone because you have to be a student athlete. And that alone, and what I've seen, the concept of connecting both sides of like we brag about our GPA. A lot of that comes from the fact that you're part of a community and you want to be a part of it. And you can't be on this field if you don't get it done over there. And I've seen it in my own house with an 8th grader, and I will fight tooth and nail. I will fight to the death to make sure football exists forever in the United States of America, because some of our boys need it. Mm-hmm. And there's girls playing now. Some of them need it. And it's such an important life. It's such an important activity that has brought out so much. It's why I'm here. It's why I do what I do. I absolutely love what it does for the individual and the team.
I have to agree, and we've said it before. My 8th graders on your 8th graders team as well, and I think it's a work ethic, right? That you're being coached on the field to work as hard as you can possibly work, and I think that spills over into other areas of your life as well.
That's right.
I've seen a commitment in my son that I've never seen before.
Right.
So it's wonderful, and I applaud you and advocate for you in your efforts to keep it up, because it really is transformational. And just the connection. I mean, it's like goes cross culture. So like such a diverse pool of kids working for the same goal, and I just the familial connection is amazing. So
totally, and
so much more than just the game itself.
Yeah, I'm with you. And when it comes to breaking down barriers and all the things that it seems like walls that are being set up and things that are put up, and you don't have that on a football field.
No.
When you get in a huddle, you have kids that look different and different religions from different places, and it doesn't really matter at this point. We need to get a yard, or we need to stop the other team. Like, it unifies everybody. And when it's done right and done, which most of us do in this country, then it should be celebrated. I will say, I get this question a lot from parents. When should my kids start playing football? It's a great question. And my answer is when your kid begs you to play football. That's the time to start playing football. So
that's a great answer, because some get very timid, shied off from it. So it's a great, we see it in padded camp. Right, you see these boys that are coming out, and they're like,
"Right,
Mom, I don't like it.
I'm gonna like it," and then they don't, and then they're done, and that's fine.
They're scared to get hit sometimes.
And that's the thing about the game. It's more of a test of what you can live with. If someone's begging you to do something, then they're gonna put their heart and soul into it, and you're gonna support it because it's something that's really, really important to them. Whether it's robotics or football, I don't care. Like, I want to build the best robot on the planet. Okay, go. That's awesome. You're gonna see that person given everything you can to it. Yeah. And I think that's for parents. And if someone's begging you to play when they're in 3rd grade, then I can justify that kid playing. Now, my kids didn't start begging me to play until 8th grade, 9th grade. My secondary answer to the question would be, if you know 100% that kid's going to play 9th grade football, maybe encourage them to think about begging you to play 8th grade football.
Right. No, I agree. I think
right? You get that 1 year where you're like, okay, the helmet goes this way, not this way. The pants go on this way.
The culture too, like learning just the culture of the sport, right?
That's right.
I think it's great.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, moving along, thank you. I can't wait to watch Charlie play at Serra. I was just going to mention that you were featured in FNF Coaches digital magazine. It was a very, very good article, and I just wanted for our listeners, if you want to read more about just the program, what it's built on, and some of your first moments of kind of realizing how you were going to build this program out. It's a really good article, so you can find that online. And now let's move into this week. It's an exciting week here at Serra. We've got our senior day coming up. It's our final game again, or final home game that we know of right now.
That's right.
Against Sacred Heart, and it's at 2:30. But more importantly, before the game, not more importantly than the game, but we have a big ceremony, Senior Day. And can you just tell us about the tradition of Senior Day, why it's important, and why we celebrate it?
Yeah, the seniors, most of whom have put 4 years into this school and put their heart and soul into the program, and representing the school positively as student athletes get honored. This isn't just a commitment for the kids too. I think it's a special day for the parents, because the commitment of Serra football is huge from the parents' perspective too. Getting the kids to school, sacrificing vacations at times, just going through the ups and downs, being there to support the student athletes is something that I think is really cool for the adults to celebrate with their kids. And we bring them out on the field. They get to walk down. They walk through the tunnel of the players who aren't graduating. We're seniors. And it's just a real special time for the families. I know particularly a lot of our Polynesian families bring, it seems like half of Polynesia too here, it's really fun to see all the signs and the shirts, and people really get into it, and it's a really cool day for the seniors.
Awesome. Can you, let's talk about some of the seniors. So I think we have roughly it's at 23?
Close to 30.
Yeah,
30 I think it's closer
30.
to
27,
30.
I think.
Yeah, 27. Yeah.
I remember from the senior banners. Can you just talk to us about some of the senior leaders, some of the bottom of the fire guys that have really kind of, regardless of starting play, right? Everybody shapes the program, as you've always mentioned.
That's very true. And I think it's, without alienating everyone, it's hard for me to talk about all 27 guys on a podcast, which I'm not going to do. But I think Benyat Martinon and Gabe Ovlin have done a fantastic job of representing the bottom of the fire when it comes to our scout teams. They've just done such a great job. They come up weekly from the coaches of just guys that have overachieved. They play a lot on special teams. But when it comes to our scout teams, they've been our Mike and Will linebacker, emulating the linebackers in our league. And they've just done a fantastic job all year long.
Great.
So those guys, Jeff definitely pop out. Dylan Judier, number 11, and Gastrock have been seniors. They've got more playing time than some of the other guys, but they've kind of the unsung heroes of the team. They practice hard. I think Dylan has won every single gasser. Someone might.
Fast.
He's very fast, but
fast as possible.
He also doesn't get tired, which is impressive. But he's always up there in the front in gassers. It's really great to see. Your son's done a great job, running down on the punt team and absorbing his role, accepting his role. I know everybody wants more, but it's nice to see these guys contribute. It brings so much life to the team. It can be such an anchor. And this team, we don't have that issue generally because of the majority of the seniors that are part of it. They know that they're not playing NFL football. They know that they're probably not going to play college football. And they know that their season could be over in 2 weeks. And they know that they're going to give whatever they can to the team so they can create a memory that lasts a lifetime. I just got a picture from Coach Falau, Elijah Falau, and I'm going to put it up on Twitter one of these days. But it's a picture of a guy at a wedding with all Serra guys in the wedding. And that's the goal. And I think this senior class is going to, when these guys start getting married, we're going to see all Padres in their weddings.
That's amazing.
Again, and that's what makes this place special. Very, very special. And there's a weirdness to it when people are still geeked about their high school when 20 years out or 30 years out, because it doesn't happen everywhere. Right. And I've heard wives of Serra Padres, like, what's the deal with the Serra thing? It's kind of weird. I don't even talk to anyone from high school. One of these girls in my yoga class actually said it. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah, you don't get it. It's just a weird Serra. I don't even get it half the time. I get it because of De La Salle.
Of course you do.
But the brotherhood is deep, and I'm very proud of the seniors for embracing this journey with their class, because whatever happens between now and the end of the season, we're going to remember this based on the seniors in the class. We obviously have a lot of juniors and sophomores contributing, but we're going to remember Seamus, and we're going to remember Alex, and we're going to remember Joey, and we're going to remember all these guys that are the seniors that have been at the top of the food chain leading.
I can't believe you forgot Goligoski. We got
Oligarchy.
Right,
exactly.
Oligarchy
he's been running around. He's battling injuries. He goes in last week and makes 3 more sacks. And can you imagine
it? So well. Oh my goodness.
I know God works in mysterious ways when it comes to the team, but he's just such a great player. I'm glad that he's back.
Well, I appreciate you just taking the time to talk about the seniors, because it is a very, very special senior class. And
it is special.
You do see that. We've got so many leaders, and just they've really I do think that this program, and I've said it before, I'm so in favor of it and such a big fan because I think it is life-changing for these boys to come out of Serra. Some may never step foot on a football field again except to...
Most won't.
Exactly, unless they have a little field pass at a Niner game or something. But,
True.
But I just think it's amazing that they have this experience and they're celebrated equally regardless of their play status. I think that's a very remarkable thing that you drill into these boys, and it makes them all feel so special. So wonderful. Well, moving on to the actual game. So SHC has a few D1 commits, right? What do they look like? They've had a pretty good run lately.
They have, and it always seems that their season turns around after the Bruce Mahoney game, which is their big SI Sacred Heart. I wouldn't say turn around because they've been playing great all season. But they beat SI a couple weeks ago, 10-0, and that game it's a spectacular game. If anyone just likes high school football, it's something you probably have to see before, the end, if you will. But it's and they're just playing with a ton of confidence. Very, very confident coaching staff. Very, very confident group of seniors, largely because of number 4 and number 6, who are fantastic players.
Right.
Number 4 has 6 defensive touchdowns, which is remarkable. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I watched him take a handoff when a quarterback was throwing a pass. He took the ball out of the kid's hands and scored a touchdown. I'm like, what is that? Jeez. I think it was a national play of the year or play of the week, I think. Mitch told me last night that it was not just a regional play of the week. It was a national play of the week. Just absolutely fantastic, which is a testament to his athleticism, and he plays hard. Number 6, Mixon really plays hard, and they're the lifeblood of the team, and they've been on the team for many years, and you can tell that those guys carry the team. They never come off the field. They're two-way guys.
Wow.
They come out. When I say never, I mean maybe for a play or a few, but they're the heart and soul of the team, and it's going to be a tough game. I mean, everyone has these expectations and this utopian, I use that word all the time, about how things are going to go. And the way I think things are going to go, it's going to be hard. And there's no easy game in the WCAL under any circumstances. We had one game where there was an aberration to that rule, but it's going to be a hard game, and that's what we want. This is why we're in this league. This is why we play SI and we score 14 points on offense and we get shut out in the second half and people are upset.
Right.
I love that. I think it's great. And there's high expectations here. It is, and there's high expectations here, and we being all of us here hold ourselves to a high standard, and we expect to be great. And when we're not, we're disappointed. And when we're not and we lose, we're doubly disappointed. So when we're not and we win, there are great lessons within those wins, like you saw last week. And one side of the ball was great. Mm-hmm. And as the head coach, I get to celebrate all of it. I get to celebrate the greatness of our defense performance last week, and feel the pain of something that we should be doing better on offense, which we all appreciate. So this is going to be a challenging week. This is a challenging game. There's a lot of things that go into senior day. It brings in family dynamics, family environments. It's something that I addressed on Monday with the team. I played Time Stand Still by Rush in the old school. That's awesome. Right? That probably strikes a chord with the older generation.
Well, I had a couple weeks ago, you did Brothers in Arms, which was like, whoa, now I'm really brought back.
Right, totally. So anyone that wants to dive into the mind of the Serra Padre team meeting in a chapel, just put on Time Stand Still by Rush and be as nostalgic as possible.
That's pretty nostalgic.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then the message of the song is dive into the moment, because you freeze this moment a little bit longer, all that stuff, because there's times in our life when we don't do that and you feel regret. And that was the message of the week.
It's a great message.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. This is why I think I've stayed at Serra for so long. This WCAL is just such a mind play, and there's such great coaches and such great players, and it's such a great league, and there's a lot of camaraderie within it. We're all friends. And in terms of the coaches, there's no one like, oh, I hate that guy down there. And I don't know. Hopefully it's reciprocated. I have to ask about that one.
Speak for them, but
I'm just saying how I feel about my 7 comrades here, whatever you want to call them.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, we should do a podcast.
We'll interview them.
Right.
That's
anyway,
funny.
but it's a very, very great league. There's just so much history, and we're here at week 10, so let's do it.
Awesome. Well, you do it well, and I appreciate your time. And so I guess just to close out, we'll on Sunday we will find out who we play the following weekend.
Yeah, generally by noon, but I know people that have this all figured out, and then by Saturday night there'll be something online where this is what it's going to be because of the points.
Right. Okay.
There's no human the next day that, unless someone gets the points wrong, but usually there's these guys out there that love high school football and they've already figured out the points, and if this happens and that, I don't get involved in any of that.
Right.
But maybe Saturday night, if you're an internet guy, you could probably go find something on NorCal Preps or something that has everything figured out. So
perfect. Well,
if you want to jump the gun.
Right. Well, let's focus on Saturday's game. Like you said, living in the moment. Congratulations to our seniors, and thank you for your dedication. And thank you for your time. Our game begins at 2:30. Our senior walk begins around 1:15. So if the families and fans want to come see that, that's when that'll start. And it's going to be a great week. Go Padres.
Thank you, Amy. Great job.